Hey Harmonizers, welcome to Hollywood. I can't believe we're actually taking the horses to Hollywood right now, but Sarah and Franny, who are in the truck with us, it was super important to them that we get to the Hollywood sign of all things. So we made it work within our trip to get down to Hollywood. This is part of the drive as we're getting into Los Angeles. I still have to pinch myself that we actually drove our horses all the way to Los Angeles. It's kind of like a dream come true, really, to go this distance with them. And it's been a really intense day because we left Fresno in the morning, went to the Sequoia National Forest in Kings Canyon, saw the big giant sequoia trees, and finishing the day now going to Hollywood. And it was pretty intense getting to Hollywood because the Hollywood sign does not have any lights, so you have to get there before dark. And it was crunch time. We were on the clock with about a half hour to go, and the sun is getting ready to set, but we made it. We finally got ourselves to the Hollywood sign. We were pretty excited to get there, and we ended up seeing the sign from this dog park. It's supposed to be a leashed dog park. We checked before we went that animals were allowed and that it would be a dog park, but the dog's supposed to be on leashes. And so we were goofing around, having fun, doing some bridleless riding out in this park. Super proud of our horses with all the stuff going on. And there ended up being a bunch of people who had their dogs there but didn't have them on leashes. And you guys are going to see how that unfolds in a few minutes here. And as we're riding around, dogs were barking and they were unsure, but we were staying out of people's way. We were kind of doing our own thing. You can see there's lots of space here at this park. So we were letting the horses eat grass a little bit, getting some cute little photos with the sign. And if we had known as we were driving up when we left, there was a much better spot to get a picture with the sign just a little bit up the hill. But we didn't know, and we didn't have a lot of time there. So we were making the best of the space that we had, trying to do some cute things with the sign, trying to figure out where to put my hand. Sarah had to tell me, put your hand lower or which hand. And I can see why now, because I can see that my hand was way too high. But we got it figured out. So you can see a little bit behind the scenes of how the magic happens to get those cute little pictures that we took. And while we were goofing around with the horses, there's Franny on Nova doing some riding as well. Rita was playing with Evelyn on the playground there. So it was kind of like a win-win because we'd been quite a bit in the truck driving. And so Ev got to go play on the playground, which was fun that she got to have some time doing that. And we goofed around with the horses a little bit. We ended up having quite a bit of time, more than what we thought. So we started riding around a little bit more, doing a little bit of fun stuff, bridleless, letting the horses stretch their legs a little bit. And as we're doing all of this stuff, we're like, okay, if we're here until dark, we're kind of committed to sunset at this point. We may as well just enjoy the time. And then it's not that far of a drive. I think it's only 2 hours or something like that after this to get to where the horses are going to be staying. And it will be dark, of course, once we get there. So we may as well thoroughly let them stretch their legs, ride, around a little bit. So that way when they get there, they'll be happy to just have a little snooze in their stall when they get there. So we were just kind of moseying around a little bit, having a little bit of grass, and we're just kind of minding our own business, staying off to the side. And we noticed that there are, some dogs barking at us in the distance a little bit, but for the most part, they're just kind of staying away and they're not really interacting with us, so we don't really think a whole lot of it. And of course, we think if you have your dog off leash at a park where they're supposed to be on a leash, then you probably have a really good recall on your dog and are able to call them back. That's definitely a really important skill to have because you never know what's going to happen. Not necessarily, I know a horse is a unique kind of more difficult challenge, but you never know what's going to upset your dog. So it's really important that if you are going to choose to be off leash, especially in a space where you're not supposed to be, that you have a really well behaved dog that you are able to get control of pretty easily. And you're going to see in a little bit that this starts to become a bit of an issue. So we're just kind of riding around. You can see there really isn't anybody else around us. We're staying in kind of an open space off to the side, just kind of playing around with the Hollywood sign in the background. It's just kind of a neat lookout area to be in. And then as we're going around, this dog starts to get closer and closer to us. So I think in the beginning, the dog started off not particularly brave and kind of kept its distance and was a little bit unsure. But as we kept going around and doing a little bit more, it started to kind of run in towards us a little bit and run out. So it was definitely starting to be curious. So that's the first little bit where you can see the dog run in and run out. And there's another dog there as well. You can see they're kind of keeping their distance, but they're starting to become a little bit more brave. So in this situation, the safest thing usually is to face the dog, because a lot of times dogs will try to nip at the horse's heels or at their back legs. But if you face them, they tend to leave you alone a little bit more. So I'm just trying to, stay calm, trying to face this dog, make sure it doesn't end up behind Alicia and be in a situation where it tries to bite Alicia's legs. And you can see the owner comes over and has absolutely no control over this dog whatsoever, has zero ability to recall this dog. And that's pretty intimidating, because what if somebody had a little dog that couldn't stand up for itself, or a child that for whatever reason was getting this dog's attention and you're not able to call your dog back? That's super dangerous. And my horse is being really calm. I decide to dismount, and at this point I start to get pretty scared, because this dog, as I'm trying to protect my horse, is looking at me like it might actually bite me. And the fact that this owner is just kind of standing around, not really doing anything. And I tried to
treats or
say something to her and be like, "Can you get your dog?" And English ended up being a little bit of a barrier. She did not speak great English, so the communication was definitely an issue. But we're trying to be pretty clear with our body language that you should keep your dog away. So we decide, we're on our way out, we're leaving, and we're just taking one last cute picture of Sarah and Nova, and then this dog comes over again. And it's really, get out of here. And so this time the dog's getting really close, and so we end up getting out of there really quickly. There's little Ev at the playground, and as we're leaving, we realize that there's this beautiful view. So we had to pull the horse trailer up and around. And as we did that, we saw this gorgeous view of this area of Los Angeles. And on the other side, there's actually this really much better view of the Hollywood sign that we just didn't see. So then it was only about a 5-minute drive, maybe less, to get to where the Hollywood Walk of Fame is. So we thought, why not take the horses for a little walk down the stars? You can literally park on the road where the stars are. So we thought, how cool is that? So we didn't do the entire Walk of Fame because it's really, really long and there's lots of stars, but we definitely walked around looking for some different stars to see. Here, just kind of getting the horses off the trailer and getting them kind of settled before we go for our little walk. And just really wanted to seize the opportunity, because we're here, we may as well, take advantage of it. We thought that'd be so cool to do a little bit of do a little Liberty sidewalk action with the stars there. So you can see there's not a lot of traffic happening. There's definitely traffic on the road and there's definitely people on the sidewalks, but it's not super intense. So we didn't think it would be really unsafe or anything like that. So we go for a little walk with our ponies, trying to do a little bit of liberty as we go down this Hollywood Walk of Fame. And we did look for a couple different stars that we wanted to see and found quite a few of them. It was pretty neat to see such a variety of people. I definitely do not know them all. I'm not up to date on a lot of my celebrities, but here's a little look at some of the stars that we were crossing. We did end up putting the horses back on the trailer after we did a little bit of a walk with them, and then we did a longer walk without the horses so we could see a few more of the stars and get some milkshakes and tacos for the road for our drive back to the area where the horses are going to be staying. So the next day is going to be pretty exciting because we're planning to get to the Grand Canyon, which I'm super excited about. But this ended up being a super amazing day. I'm not really sure what my most favorite part was. This was pretty cool. Let me know what your favorite part was. Thanks for watching.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.